We're here with Mayor Willey, speaking with him about the decision to funnel the town's economic development and tourism money through one organization and the transition to do that. Mayor Willey, if you could talk about the process and the decision making.
The process usually starts about this time of year where we start reminding the various departments of their needs and their plans for the upcoming fiscal year. Each department submits a list of items that they want to be funded, salaries, benefits, in the case of economic development, maybe visits they're going to make to businesses, the kind of retention policies they want to put in place, and so forth and so on. We depend on each of the groups to supply the information about how the funding is going to be used, and then follow up on how it's working and whether it's sufficient or not. And invariably we find that with economic development we have underfunded them for years, so they really have had to scurry around and have a festival or an event or do a fund drive of some kind to get the necessary funding to finish their projects. It was talked about for years that we would fund economic development from one particular account. That was put into place this current fiscal year, where economic development is listed as one line item. It's not for EEDC and it's not EBA, it's economic development, and it's how it's been done this year. It was also decided that effective September 30th or October 1st, same days really, that we would no longer fund both as separate entities, but everything would be funneled through one account, and that would be monitored by EEDC. The funding wasn't cut off, it was put into one account, and then to get access to that money we had to have the plans for it and what it was going to be used for. That's when the uproar started, that we had cut off funding. We really didn't cut off funding, it's all still there in the account, but now we're requiring more scrutiny over how that's being used, and to make sure we have the proper records to back it up, and then the financial records to show how it was being spent.
So how do you see that process working at this point? If Discover Easton has a project, how do they get their funding?
The funding is being monitored right now. The budget is being monitored by two people from EBA and also two from the Easton Economic Development Corporation. And then that request is sent in to Don, who would offer the funding to be delivered to the particular organization.
Sure. Have you gotten any response from either the EBA, Discover Easton folks, or the EEDC concerning the change?
I think most of the change has been for a lack of understanding of what was actually asked. We didn't fire anybody. Nobody lost their job. The funding wasn't taken away. It was all brought back into one account, and the process for how that account was being accessed was put into place. And once we've talked to a couple members of the EBA board and explained to them how it was being done. I've even made the offer, if there was a question, come on in, the door's open, and we're not doing this secretly. It's all there for public preview, and they're welcome to look at it at any time. But we have made an effort to talk to members of the board, and the ones that haven't been talked to, I understand will be talked to later on this week.
Sure. Anything else you would like to add about the situation?
I guess we're going through a trying time right now with the COVID-19 and all the other obstacles that are facing businesses today. But we expect that in the long run that the business community will work better. Not that it wasn't working well in the past, but this way everybody gets a chance to work with everybody. We'll see what's happening, and between the funding and the communication with the council, it's got to be improvements. And we think there's some synergies to be gained from both of them working together on various projects. We don't want to see any of the events that EBA has in the past, the Christmas parade, the Easter egg hunt, St. Patrick's Day, all that stuff they put together has been great. We need to keep that going, but at the same time, we need to channel that into more business coming into town and how we can improve the business flow.
Well, thank you for your time, Mayor Willey.
Sure.